Will the American Express Platinum Card or Gold Card keep you away from your dream SUV? Will applying for a new credit card get you declined for an auto loan? Should you close your credit cards now that you're thinking about getting a new vehicle? Let's find out. Welcome back to Tito's Financial Corner, where we talk about credit cards, points and miles, as well as travel. Today we'll be talking about the steps that I personally took to get a new vehicle and how I was able to get approved for an auto loan and how you can do it as well. Now, there is a disclaimer with that. I am not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy on YouTube that's telling you his story, and hopefully you can find a couple of tidbits that you can utilize whenever you're shopping for a new car. So let me set the stage for you. Your boy Tito has been driving a good old-fashioned 2008 Ford Edge now for almost 12 years. That's right, that car is 15 years old. So it's bound to start breaking up on me. It got to the point where the car literally stopped working on me 3 different times on one trip. Literally every time I would get to a red light or a stop sign, my car would just completely turn off. I would literally have to stay there for a couple of seconds, turn the ignition on a couple of times until the car would start working on again so I could keep moving on. But again, as soon as I would hit another stop sign or a red light, I would have to deal with the same issue all over again. So I knew it was time to get a new car. RIP Big Red. I was in the market for Mazdas, Fords, Nissans, Hondas. I was just looking for a good family SUV. I also knew that I was gonna have to finance part of this new vehicle that I was going to get. So I knew that my credit had to be on point. But again, this came out of nowhere. From one day to the other, my car stopped working. So I didn't have the luxury of planning ahead 3 to 6 to 9 months. So I had to do everything within a 1 week's time frame. I had to make sure that my credit was good to go, so that brought me up to our first point, and that is hard inquiries or hard pulls. As we all know, hard inquiries or hard pulls are part of your overall credit score. Now they might not be the highest, but depending on how many hard pulls are on your credit, they could definitely make an impact. Now with that being said, we have to know that every time we do a hard pull on our credit, it will bring the credit score down. As far as how much, it could be anywhere between 5 to 10 points, all the way up to 30 or 35 plus points. It all completely depends on your credit score, your credit history, as well as the length of that history. For me personally, I had 6 hard pulls by the time I was looking for a car. So that's a little bit higher than what is recommended, just because usually they want you to have it at 5 or less. Now, one of the reasons that having too many hard pulls could affect you is that you don't have ample time to bring your score back up. As I mentioned, any hard pull will bring your score down, but it usually will come back right up. As far as the time frame, it could depend anywhere between 3 to 6 months. Now, for me, I am thankful that usually my credit score is back up to its normal state, usually within 2 to 3 months after a hard pull has taken effect. So I wasn't too worried, but at the same time, I did have to remember that the last hard pull that I had was when I applied for the American Express Gold Card back in April. So it's been about 3 months since that hard pull, and that had me a little shaken, I'm not gonna lie. But this is also where monitoring your credit and keeping track of where you're at helps out, because I knew that my credit score had come back up to the low 800s by the time I needed to get a new car. So again, just a couple of tidbits that you should know is that having too many hard pulls could affect your credit score. Having a recent hard inquiry could definitely affect your credit score, which in turn would affect your annual percentage rate that you would have to pay back on that auto loan. So again, just make sure you keep tabs on your credit score, how it's affected, and how each hard inquiry could affect your credit score and how long it would take you to get back to your normal credit score. This is also a great time to remind you to hit that subscribe button as well as that like button to help out this channel. And that also brings me to another point, and that is to monitor your credit score. Because I was able to see within 2 months, my credit score was right back up to the low 800s. But again, this could be completely different from you, so that is why it helps to keep monitoring your credit score as well as your credit history. The next thing I had to double check was my credit utilization. If you're using too much of your available credit, that would definitely negatively impact you with your credit score. If you're using more than 30% of your available credit, that could start impacting and bringing down your score. Now, thankfully, that was not an issue that I had since I pay my credit cards off every single month. That gave me a credit utilization rate of less than 1%. The next point that I had to consider was whether to close out any of my current credit cards. And if nothing else, please remember this, and that is no, I did not close out any of my credit cards, and I hope you don't do as well. And the main reason for that is that as soon as you close your credit card, that would almost instantly affect your credit score, especially if it's a long history. If we're talking about a credit card that's older than a couple of years, and God forbid it is 10 years or more, that would definitely impact your credit score, because as soon as you close that credit card, that whole credit history is completely deleted of your credit score and credit history. So that will usually bring your score down, and God forbid you close out your oldest credit card. For example, my oldest credit card is a credit card with a credit union that I opened over 12 years ago. It doesn't have the highest available credit. It doesn't offer me any rewards, but it is my oldest account. It doesn't charge me an annual fee. There's no reason for me to close it since it is helping me out to build on my history. So again, please, unless you have to, do not close any credit cards before you make such a large purchase as buying a new vehicle. After making sure I was all set, I was able to walk into the dealership with pride as well as with authority, because I knew I would get approved for any auto loan that I would apply for, unless I was applying for a Lamborghini one day. But otherwise, I would definitely be able to get approved for any vehicle. I knew the exact amount that I wanted to apply for, as well as the max amount that I could afford and what my monthly payments should be. And that is where you get a lot of authority, because if you walk into a dealership with knowing what your numbers are, there's less of a chance that a dealer can rip you off. Now, it's still possible. It's still possible, I'm not gonna lie, but there's less of a chance. Knowing what's the maximum amount that I wanted to get on the auto loan gave me a lot more authority to let the salesman know that, hey, I cannot go over this price, so give me an itemized out-the-door price so I can know what would be the final price. Because I'm sure by now you guys know, the price you see online for any vehicle is not the price that you would pay once you're ready to buy the vehicle off the dealership. Taxes as well as dealer add-on are never included. So that car that you're looking at, that's only worth $25,000, $30,000, $40,000, could easily be $5,000 to $6,000 or more, depending on the dealer. And here's a pro tip. Always ask for an itemized out-the-door price, so that way you know exactly what the taxes will be, as well as the dealer adds-on. And some of those are not mandatory. Some of those you do not need to take at all. After 5 different dealerships, 9 different test drives, I walked home with my beautiful new Mazda CX-9 Carbon Edition. I absolutely love this car. I love the fact that it has a 3rd row seating. I love the exterior and interior color. And trust me, right now, I want to drive everywhere. I don't care how far it is. I don't care how close it is. I just want to get in my new car and just drive. With that said, I want to hear from you guys. Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Will you be financing a new car? And if you are, what kind of vehicle are you looking for? Let me know in the comments below. With that said, if you found any information useful during this video, please hit that subscribe button as well as that like button. Thank you, and I hope to see you in the next one. Adios.